One down, 5 to go as of the making of this video. Sunday of Wild Card Weekend. There were 6 head coaching opportunities heading into the weekend, and there are 5 left. Turns out that Mike Vrabel decides to go back home, something the Patriots should have done last year, and they decided to hire Mike Vrabel, who I think is the perfect coaching candidate in person for the New England Patriots. If it's anybody that knows that regime and that entire franchise, it is Mike Vrabel. Is he going to try to duplicate Bill Belichick, or is he going to bring his own style to that organization? So they have hired Mike Vrabel. Why is this? Why are we talking about this? Because Ben Johnson interviewed with the Patriots. I believe it was Saturday, they interviewed with the Patriots. And Aaron Glenn knew he was going to be the token black guy, and he turned that down. Now, initially, I thought maybe he turned the interview down because maybe he didn't want to interview somewhere that Ben Johnson had interviewed. But I found out today that both head coaches have interviewed for the Chicago Bears, both Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. So what does this mean? Well, the Patriots were one of those organizations that we could have seen Ben Johnson go to. Now, I'm keeping it a buck. I think that the coaching candidate that is more likely to get a job, overtake a job, is Ben Johnson. I think that Aaron Glenn, he is more likely to take a job because maybe nobody else wants it. I hate to say it, man, but the sad reality is that that's the way it is. The Rooney Rule is in place for a reason. It's a valiant attempt at getting minorities interviewed, but it is a load of baloney. That's just what it is. So I'm not sure either coordinator is going to become a coach. I really don't know. So here's where I'm at. I think that you have Tom Brady, who is actively, aggressively pursuing Ben Johnson. If I'm Ben Johnson, I don't step foot near the Raiders organization. Now, according to reports from earlier this weekend, Ben Johnson and the Raiders are stuff is heating up. Ben Johnson is a smart man, and it would shock me if he lands on the Las Vegas Raiders. Here's a fun fact. The Las Vegas Raiders will be paying their 4th coach upon the hire of this coach. They are still paying John Gruden. They are still paying Josh McDaniels. They are still paying Antonio Pierce, and they will be paying their 4th head coach concurrently. That is a place I don't go to, along with the middling owner of Mark Davis and the dysfunction over there. That's a hard pass for me. Even with Tom Brady. Let me see what Tom Brady can do his first year, 2, 3 of the, whatever stake owner he is. Then we'll talk after that. So I don't know if he goes there. So that will leave 4 jobs remaining. Aaron Glenn, when it comes to Aaron Glenn, I think Aaron Glenn is a candidate for the Jets and the Saints. Now, you got the Jets. You got people using Madden. The dysfunction over there. They're going to make a decision with Aaron Rodgers. But whether he's there or not, that's a rough organization to go to. I think the only reason that we put Aaron Glenn there is because he played there. Okay? So Aaron Glenn will either be the Saints head coach or the Jets head coach. If I'm Aaron Glenn, I'm probably going to lean more toward the Saints. Even though that's a hard sell for me as well, because these teams are going to be bad year one. The Patriots, maybe they might have some hope, but I think everybody else is going to be a bad year one, right? Not every team is the Washington Commanders, and they can kind of turn it around and make the playoffs and go 12-5 the next year. So when it comes to the 5 that's currently remaining, I'm going to say that Ben Johnson, if I'm Ben Johnson, you don't really hear his name with the Raiders. With the Jets and with the Saints. You hear Ben Johnson with the Bears. You hear Ben Johnson with the Raiders. So I think with Ben Johnson, it's going to come down between the Bears and Raiders. And we know what he wants from the organization. And I don't think either one of those teams can give them what they want, give him what they want. Now, I saw another kind of outsider's take about Ben Johnson versus Aaron Glenn and their coaching style, and how Ben Johnson might want to walk into a situation that he can quickly turn around, which I'm not mad at him, and that Aaron Glenn might be willing to walk into a situation that requires a little more work. So the purpose of this video is, while it is highly possible that both coordinators could leave, we don't know how serious these teams are about Aaron Glenn. I'm not going to believe that Aaron Glenn gets a job until Aaron Glenn gets a job. because the Rooney Rule is like I said, it's there. It's an attempt, but it's trash. The rule itself is great, but the whole thing is trash. These teams go in there. It's so bad that they have to give incentives. They will give incentives to interview and hire minority coaches. So, and has Aaron Glenn outside of what he was able. This is why Aaron Glenn will get a job this year. He was able to take the most injured defense in the league and turn it around to a Super Bowl winning team or caliber team, right? Because we haven't won it at the making of this video. So that's what I think Aaron Glenn has working for him. Ben Johnson has all the hype and the excitement surrounding him and the way that the offense runs. So the point of this video is, as of right now, it's getting a little shaky. Oh, no, hold on, hold the phone, pump the brakes. I forgot. I just saw from Bleacher Report that there's a college head coach that the Raiders are aggressively pursuing. So all this talk about Ben Johnson, I forgot the head coach's name, but there's a head coach that the Raiders are kind of, so now the shift is, wait a minute, we might have to, Ben Johnson playing too many games. So the Raiders, if the Raiders come off the table, that means that Ben Johnson, to me, the only place he goes is Chicago, and that would be dumb. If I'm Ben Johnson, and I've talked about this on a different channel, if I am Ben Johnson, I skip this coaching cycle. You know why? It's two reasons. One reason is Andy Reid, is he done yet? Is he ready to call it quits? He might be close to it. If I'm Ben Johnson, I'm like, yo, I'll wait on that one. You know what I'm saying? I'll keep this Lions offense rolling. Let's stack not one, not two, not three. Let's get as many titles as possible, and let me hold off on that Kansas City job. As a matter of fact, I'll put it in their ear right now. Listen, when Andy Reid calls it quits, holla at your boy. All right? Now, that's probably further down the road. But something that I think is more of a possibility is, and that if I was Ben Johnson, my number one place that I would go, even though the defense is almost as bad as ours or just as bad as ours, I am going to wait on Zach Taylor to be fired and become the next head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals. Give me a Jamar Chase. Give me a Joe Burrow. Let's fix that defense. And Ben Johnson knows that he knows what can be done with a mystery man defense. So your defense don't have to have, stud players on it. If you have the right people in place, if you have the right culture in place. So if I'm Ben Johnson, I will skip this coaching cycle and I will wait on the Cincinnati Bengals job to open up, because I think if you're the Cincinnati Bengals, super cheap organization, but if they don't win a playoff game, I think it might be time for a change. Zach might be, the Bengals right now, outside of that Super Bowl run, it's like Marvin Lewis 2.0, and they got a better team. Well, not really, because you had Chad Johnson, you had Hushmanzada. So, even when you had Carson Palmer for a little bit. So if I'm Ben Johnson, I'm like, you know what? I'm good. I'll stay here. Let's run it back in Detroit. And then holler at me next year, next offseason, right? Now, Aaron Glenn, on the other hand, I think he wants a challenge. He wants to go to a team that's going to be, he wants that fix-it project. It just seems like his personality. So I could see him taking, probably, if I had to choose, I think he goes to the Saints. And it's going to be tough over there as well. So they're not going to turn it around overnight. So those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comment section below. I'm leaning more and more with the Raiders job potentially being off the table and the Patriots job going to Mike Vrabel. I'm leaning more and more and more and more that both coordinators stay in Detroit. And I wouldn't be mad. I'm going to keep it real, bro. Aaron Glenn, this year, he has earned a running back year. Give me running back, big dog. Get your team healthy. Maybe Brad can throw something on defense, on that defensive line. Maybe he can finally address something, give you more pieces. And let's run it back. Let me see what you got. Because I see what you got in year 4 with a broken defense, a hurt team. Let me see what you got with a healthy team, and then we'll go from there. And I think if I'm Aaron Glenn, outside of the, do you want to take a job because nobody else wanted it? Do you want that job, or do you want to be coveted? Ben Johnson is coveted. I don't think Aaron Glenn is. I don't think he ever was, to be honest with you. I don't think he ever was. I think one thing is the minority coach situation, because even though we don't like to look at it, it's right there. It's staring us in the face. And the other thing is, I think it's almost like, do we really? Okay, we'll please people, and we'll interview Aaron Glenn. I don't know. Like I said, this is the best year, I think, for him to actually get a coaching job, due to the fact that The team is obliterated on defense. We lost our entire starting defensive line except for DJ Reader, and we have the number 1 third down defense in the league. We are 15-2, so I think that his stock is at an all-time high. But does he want to take a job that may not work out? And here's the thing, too. I want you to think about this. If, as much as I want Dan Campbell to have a coaching tree, and I think eventually he will, you have to think about this. How many coaches get a second opportunity? I saw today that the Jets are totally out. It said completely out on Rex Ryan after his interview. And he was joking today, Sunday, on about maybe facing Mike Vrabel twice a year. Like he really thought he had an opportunity at that job to run it back. You don't get second opportunities are rare. And if they're given, it's usually, it sometimes can be by a dumb organization. You know who did not deserve a second chance? Josh McDaniels, and he will not get a third. Matt Patricia, you will never see him coach in the National Football League again. I mean, Jim Caldwell did not get a second opportunity as a head coach after multiple interviews. Head coaching jobs are 1 of 32, and you don't get second chances that often. So you have to be smart with that first one. We know Ben Johnson is. I'm not saying Aaron Glenn isn't smart, but you got to know what you're doing. So let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. This is getting interesting. This channel is made possible by viewers, subscribers, and members just like you. You could be anywhere else on YouTube, but you choose to rock with me. I hope you enjoy and like. People are just now kind of slowly noticing the logo. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think. I like it. Shout out to the big homies, man. I got big homies everywhere that's looking out. Anybody who's ever done something for me or this channel, you are considered a big homie. I appreciate the homies, man. You guys are awesome. Take care of yourself and each other. And as always, go Lions. It's going to be an interesting offseason, even though we're not there just yet for our Detroit Lions.